Well, hey there, Aletheia Church. Thank you for joining us in gospel community this evening. I hope that my sermon from this past Sunday didn't run everyone off, but I actually am hoping that tonight in gospel community or whenever you guys are meeting, that this becomes a great opportunity to talk about a pretty difficult subject that I tried to unpack on Sunday during my sermon. Uh, During my time this past Sunday, I unpacked the life of Lydia in Acts chapter 16 and just wanted to unveil the important role that she played in the church in Philippi and seeing that church started and using her gifts like hospitality and service to help Paul and others successfully share the gospel and see disciples made in Philippi. And we said that in many ways, the church of Philippi would not have existed without the unique role that Lydia played in that church. And so one of the things we wanted to do in our sermon this past week is unpack this idea and understand where we come from when the Bible talks about the roles of women and men inside the local church. And what I unpacked for you on Sunday was the definition of biblical complementarianism versus egalitarianism. And we worked through how biblical complementarianism would state that under God, men and women are created equal in value and yet given distinct roles and callings inside the home and the local church. I went on to say that complementarianism is important to understand because it both reflects our Creator, but it also reflects the gospel. Then I went on to talk about what complementarians believe, right? That complementarians believe that the Bible is first and foremost our ultimate authority in understanding the roles of men and women inside the church and inside the family. The second thing I talked about was that the church is a family and that we need to figure out how to operate that way as brothers and sisters. I went on to say that men and women are both called to gospel ministry and that men are not allowed to lord leadership or headship over women in some way, shape, or form and not allow them to participate, but that the church needs women and men locking arms together for the glory of God. Lastly, I said that equal involvement in gospel ministry did not mean that roles were interchangeable and that there were some specific roles reserved just for men as outlined by Scripture. Those were the roles of pastor or elder or overseer, depending on what your translation might say. Preaching, and then in that, protecting the church from false teaching and exercising judgment and doctrinal issues. I hope that tonight in gospel community, you will talk about the importance of letting the Scripture guide us in these decisions, but also be charitable to one another. Everyone's going to be coming from a different position and place in trying to understand these things, and we must let God be our guide as we seek to honor Him and make disciples together. I hope that you guys will be charitable with one another. I hope that you'll discuss hard subjects. I hope that if something is difficult or hard for you, that you will discuss that amongst one another and that ultimately you will love and pray for one another well, seeking to make much of Jesus together. I love you guys. Go and be the church.